I'm excited to see where these random openers go.
Mm. Well, Seth's gonna have to cut this.
No,
because
this is all perfect. We're using all of this right now.
This is where the cold open starts.
Yeah.
We wait for Seth to walk in, and then he says, "When we last left the party."
Oh, hey guys, I just made it back.
What's that? What's your roll?
9.
9. We can
Why'd you ask? Are you the audience?
Could always start the session with a roll. See how the podcast is going to go.
Well, we need to start now.
That's it with advantage. We prepare for a little bit.
Well, what's your performance modifier?
No, I have elven accuracy. Perfect. That's exactly where I wanted to end up.
The audience can't see it. It's a 20.
1.
Yeah,
it's 21.
We rolled a 21.
Cool. We'll start with that. All right, so I think let's just jump into some talking about topics and stuff, and then by the end we'll come up with something to wrap up.
Okay, cool.
But we have a D&D group.
Do we? We do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, tell me about it.
And we have for like a couple of years now.
Right.
And this is episode 1, so nothing is like set in stone. We don't have a good intro. And we're sitting around 3 tiny stools in my bedroom. But we kind of want to talk about how we got into D&D overall. And that all starts with Mr. Zachary Carvon.
Right. So, that's me.
Oh yeah, I'm Seth Pittman. This is my college roommate, Zachary Carvon, and this is my new roommate, Andrew Amano.
That is me.
Yep,
that is correct. That is our names.
We've been playing D&D now for 4 years.
2017.
I think 4 years.
2017,
right.
yeah.
4-ish years. We all play 5e, and I was the first one to drag us all to hell. So I started playing in college with our mutual friend. This tall, lanky man walks over to me.
Lanky Eric.
Yeah, Lanky Eric. Lanky Eric walks over to me, and he says, "Hey, you guys want to play D&D?" And I said, "Of course I do." So, like, at this point, I had like a passing interest in playing D&D. I've been watching YouTube videos about like D&D story time and that sort of stuff. So I thought it was gonna be fucking awesome. Shit. I thought it was gonna be
keeping track. That's one fuck for the day.
I thought it was gonna be awesome.
We're going up a year every single sentence. Like here we go. We're PG-14 now. Or is it TV-14?
It's TV-14.
We're TV-14 now.
Mm-hmm. I never understood that distinction.
Where we are by the end of this.
Like, you don't need parental guidance to watch TV?
Well, I mean, we can get into age laws all we want.
So anyway, Lanky Eric walks up to me. He says, "You want to play D&D?" Of course I do. So, that
was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I didn't want in the first 3 minutes of our podcast for me to be sneezing, so just...
Drew just tried to sneeze in his hoodie, and he made zero decibels of sound.
Mm-hmm.
Natural 20 Constitution check.
That's true. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Oh, Lord.
So, anyway, I played a few sessions with Lanky Eric, and then at the time I was roommates with Seth. We'd been living together for like a month. This was sophomore year of college.
Yeah.
So, fun times. And I said, I'm not really hitting it off with this guy. I want to be friends with my roommate.
All we've done is play Dragon Ball FighterZ together for maybe an hour.
Uh-huh. So I come back to my dorm. I say, or you know what? Maybe we even discussed that I was going to play D&D before.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, D&D is so fun. I we've got a few players, but a couple of them are being a little flaky. Do you want to come? Like,
I was totally not on board either at first because I was a music major in college and I had rehearsals like every single night. So
Right.
I was like, there's no way I can fit D&D into my schedule, but I would love to. And then that happened for like a couple of weeks of like being like, man, he's going to play D&D. I want to do that. I want to be like him. And instead, I filled my void with Magic the Gathering.
So anyway, a couple weeks pass where I tell Seth about our D&D sessions. I sort of say like what's going on in the campaign. We were running through Lost Mines of Phandelver, so that was my first experience.
Like the beginner stuff.
Yep. So, anyway, I finally convinced Seth, come on, let's go sit in on a session, and then you and Lanky Eric get to talking, and he's like, yes, of course I want a new player.
Yeah, and I was so into it too. Like after watching the session, I'm like, there's no way I can stay out of this now. You know, you're in college, live it up, man. You know, live it up and play D&D with the boys.
So that's what you did. So we rolled up a character for you, and
they were level 2, so just made a quick like level 2 monk.
Yep. And I was a half orc paladin. I died shortly after.
Oh, we can get into that though. That was crazy.
We'll talk about campaign stuff at some point.
Yeah, our first few sessions were absolutely wild.
Yep. So stay tuned for that. But so we played for the rest of sophomore year, and around that point, we had a fairly regular group. We had lots of scheduling issues though.
You do. The worst part about D&D is like putting together schedules.
Especially in college. I was a theater major. Seth was a music major. Everyone had stuff they had to do. So at one point we had 8 or 9 people who all wanted to play at the same time, and trying to schedule that was just a nightmare. So we got through Lost Mines of Phandelver, and then after that, we sort of started splitting up a little bit. Seth, you tried your hand at DMing.
Yeah, I DM'd a 11 or 12 session fully homebrew campaign, which if you're starting DMing, I'd say probably just run something from a module or something instead. I'd ask Zach for a lot of narrative advice of being like, oh, I just brought this into the last session, and I have no clue how it makes sense. How do we make this make sense?
Yeah, well, and I was that player who, at that time, I didn't know that this was sort of frowned upon. But when I learned about all the books, I started reading through the Monster Manual and reading through the Dungeon Master's Guide, and so I had that sort of knowledge. So
yeah,
and that's just what we would do all through college. Like any time that Seth and I were in the room together, which was infrequent, but like at night, pretty much, we'd just talk about.
It would be like, oh, I'm back finally at 9 p.m. one night. Time to go to Zach's in the room. Wonder what he thinks about last session.
Yeah. Well, how are we going to deal with that wraith?
Yeah.
It's going to kill us. But we'd formulate our plans for next session, and we talk about your campaign.
Yeah, I came up with a little campaign. It took place in my own little homebrew setting that I wrote one city up and started running them through. Every session was basically like a one-off. Like it definitely wasn't sequential and like a big storyline thing. Like they went on a mission every single session, wrapped up that mission by the end, and then we get to the end of the campaign and I made this entire like mega dungeon thing that they had to like go through a bunch of puzzles wise. I'd say it was very, very like railroady, but at the same time, you know, it was fun and everybody was a new player.
Right,
so.
and to speak to that a little bit, I do think there's some validity when you're trying to start out, since that's what we're talking about, just to have, serialized, episodic session where if someone has to miss that week, you're not screwed because, you missed this big important plot moment. You're just a bunch of friends messing around.
Yeah.
So that's nice. But anyway, so we wrap out that...
and it was super informal. Like, nothing was professional about it. We weren't scheduling everything every week. It was like, we'd like to play this day this week, but if we can't, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Where, like, nowadays, as adults who have to pay their taxes and rent, we have very, very strict schedules, and it's like, this is our one day to play D&D. Nobody fuck it up.
Yeah. So we'll get to where we're at now, I promise. Hang in there. But anyway, Drew's been sitting here patiently. At the end of sophomore year, we finally wrapped up this big arc in our campaign with Lanky Eric. And we all started splitting off. Seth was DMing his friends a little bit. I was running some one-offs on the side.
And you were going into running a campaign, too.
Yep, yeah. And so I decided next year, I'm not going to homebrew. I don't have time for that. But I am going to spend the summer reading up on Curse of Strahd. I'm going to run that.
And I did the same for Storm King's Thunder. We were like, okay, which campaign are you running? Which one am I running?
Mm-hmm.
Let's read separate books. But the whole time we were playing D&D, I was going up to Drew, who was my friend for a couple of years before this, and we were we were in a huge Magic the Gathering phase. We were playing cards every day. We would go to the student center and be like, okay, we have 3 hours. Get your cards out. And we would sit there like dweebs and play Magic the Gathering in the student center for hours. And I was like, you got to get into this D&D thing. I know you're super into Magic, but come on, you got to play D&D. You're going to love it far more.
And that's kind of how it started for me. I think it starts for most people is usually you hear about this, this D&D concept, like what is that? And for a while, I just thought it was a video game. I honestly thought it was a video game. Everyone would bring it up at the lunch table or just while we're hanging out and talk about D&D and this.
I was wondering why you kept bringing your Xbox controller to the first sessions.
I never got to use it with 18th level or so. But yeah, it took a while for me to really understand what it was. I assume a lot of people. I went through it was definitely a video game thing, and okay, so it's not digital. It's definitely a board game here. So we're rolling something. And
board game is always confusing to people too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As they're like, yeah. So how do you win?
Exactly. And if it wasn't a video game and it wasn't a board game, I was not grabbing the concept of what exactly was going, because people were describing these crazy.
It's a Netflix series, man.
Yeah, it's like it would be a movie scene. You were Schmidt a monk and you would do a backflip and kick someone across the face. Like, how did you do that? How did you see this? Was it on the screen? And so it took me forever to really grasp that this was a virtual tabletop game.
Yeah.
And all it was for a long time was just stories on stories of people talking about it. It took forever for me to actually sit in on a game and see what it was.
Right. Which I think is a great point to bring in your first session. Because Drew was the epitome of a new player. We all got pulled in by a DM who was a little bit experienced, who was able to guide us along, and who was able to help us make our first characters, make decisions for us that make sense. And then,
and what's so funny about that is we sort of idolized him at the time, you're the guru with the knowledge.
I was like, if I ever ask a question, he has the answer.
But
he's my professor.
I'm not sure if you knew this. Lanky Eric was only playing D&D for a few months before us.
Yeah.
So he didn't know that much more.
All he had was what was in the Fandelver module, as knowledge, and it was he knows I even said that to you at one point. I was like, man, Lanky Eric, he really knows everything about this game.
Do you think all new players feel that way with their first DM?
I think so.
I imagine as you're guided through it that way.
Because even female Eric told me the other day whenever we were making our her character, she was like, wow, you're really good at just coming up with this stuff off the top of your head and everything. And I was like, well, no, it's more of I've spent a lot, I treat these books like textbooks, and I know what they say. I can just, if you ask me the simple weapons I can choose from, I can give you a pretty comprehensive list pretty quickly. Or, what do you want to use? I'll make one.
Even so, in the beginning, the first time I actually made my first character, which was Eknon, and abusing him in a long campaign, you guided me through it. I think you only had a couple months of experience at that point.
Yeah.
And I assumed you knew everything because it's so overwhelming at first. I don't know what the classes are. I don't know what the different races are,
Yeah.
But we spent so much time, bouncing ideas off of each other and, looking through, all right, what are the options that we have to choose?
What spell was that guy using? I want it.
So we learned too much really quickly. I probably learned more about D&D that year than I learned in school.
Definitely learned more about D&D than school, but especially for me, I knew less than Zach did about the game, and I was like, I'm running a campaign this semester. And Man, can you believe the gall I had to just walk up to people that I barely knew around the cafeteria and be like, "Hey, you want to play D&D?"
I imagine it's the same goal as playing Magic the Gathering in the middle of the student center.
Yeah.
They're walking by asking what the cards do.
I was like, I need players now. And so I went to people whose schedules I knew were a little more open that I kind of knew around the cafeteria. I even put stuff in group chats that I was in with like the RAs and stuff. And I was like, who wants to play D&D? Somebody play D&D in my campaign. I'm running a campaign every week.
You know, it's way better than being the guy that really wants to start a D&D group, but then just doesn't try and it kind of just dies off. Mm-hmm. So you made it work one way or the other.
Right, and so that's we'll have some tips for new people starting out if you're not or if you haven't had the opportunity to play as much, but we got lucky in a lot of ways, I will say, just because we didn't.
It didn't take us long to find our group.
Mm-hmm. But once we had a little bit of experience playing, we did make our own D&D. So, moving on past sophomore year, we come back after that summer. I was DMing my own campaign. You were DMing your own campaign. Our mutual campaign that we were both players in sort of fizzled out. But we were taking action and making our own D&D from there.
Yeah, I mean, and Drew started as a 14th level player, so he had more experience than all of us to go into Section 1.
One-off 14th level Thief Rogue.
And the DM was one of our friends who's in our campaign now.
Firefighter Eric?
Firefighter
Eric. That's exactly who it was.
That's so good. No, he's still currently playing with this weekly, but it was his first time DMing, and he was like, I want to do a 14th level thing with you guys. And while it was a very fun combat experiment, I will say it didn't make like a ton of sense, but it was fun.
Oh, absolutely. It was the first big shabam, and it was his first time running as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I just sawed his dragon in half as a barbarian.
Butter churned that thing from the back.
Literally.
Oh, man.
I didn't even think about it as like churning his like spine.
Oh, God, that's so gross. Oh, we're going up to rated R now.
No, TV 15.
What a good session though. I started out with the cloak of
the arachnid. Cloak of the arachnid, right?
Yeah, I think
something like that. So my first time playing, I'm running up a vertical
He's
wall.
Just spider climbing all the time as a rogue, which is great because now you're not in danger of anything.
It's good first experience knowing that I'll always be super powerful at all times.
And you'll never die in any campaign.
There's definitely no death at all.
You know, that does remind me of a one-off I was playing with Lanky Eric. My brother, Zach's brother Eric, he was an assassin rogue, and he just decided, I'm just going to climb this sheer rock wall. He had a -1 in strength. So he should not have any business climbing this wall, but there was this giant chameleon on the ceiling that we needed to get to. So anyway, he rolls a natural 20.
This.
Yeah, and he manages to climb the friggin' wall with his -1 strength. On this, Lanky Eric really just let you do whatever if you got a nat 20.
If you got a nat 20, you were allowed to do anything you wanted.
But, so he did.
We made such bad decisions. Why did we do that?
I feel like the bad decisions are what builds character.
I threw my staff at this thing. Weapon, go!
That's right, because you, we hadn't even made it to 3rd level yet, so you hadn't decided your class, so you were a Way of the Four Elements monk in that one.
Yeah, in that
one-off. Yeah. Good times. Anyway, we did kill the thing, but it was cool. His character, Varkin, the rogue, did contribute somehow by climbing that fucking wall.
Yeah, well, I even got eaten by the lizard, and then since I was Way of the Four Elements, eventually it'll be TV like 120. But since I was 4 elements, and we didn't know how it worked, so Lanky Eric said I could just use whatever 4 elements abilities that were in like the thing as long as I had the key points. And so I just burning hands my way out of it, Fist of the Fire Snake, like, punched it and then fell the whole distance and was able to, like, do the Featherfall Monk thing to land.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Featherfall was absolutely one of the coolest spells. One of my personal favorites. So, I think at this point, it's easy to say that all of us were very quickly engulfed by D&D, very quickly addicted to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what was surprising.
Had to get my shit.
I mean, you sort of mentioned before, you know, you were really hesitant to get into it. I think we can all agree that in first hearing about Dungeons & Dragons, you're like, I'm a little nerdy, but I'm not that
I'm not that dude.
But
it's hard to believe that I'm sitting here wearing a robe and wizard hat right now and a monocle on my right eye. I mean,
I think it's hard to believe too.
I think that stereotype, that feel of it being a geeky thing, is part of the introduction to the game. You kind of have to accept it or go through the phases of knowing that you're a geek playing D&D.
Right, but it is more widespread now.
Much more since when we first started. That was when Critical Role was like first starting to take off and stuff, right?
And so, it was in Stranger Things.
Yeah, and it was in Stranger Things a lot. So then since that like 2016-17 time frame is when it started to like start really picking up steam. And now I'd say it's almost at like where gaming was when we were kids. You know, where everybody was like, oh, like you can game, I guess, but now everybody does it. I'd say D&D is like where that is now. It's like in that point where not everybody does it, not everybody you know does it, but everybody wants to do it.
Right. Well, and
some people secretly want to do it.
Everyone, like out of 10 people that you know, one of them plays D&D.
Exactly.
And I would have to say, I guess around that time when Critical Role was really blowing up, it was pretty. What's the word? Exponentially kind of rising in the way everyone was playing. Right now, I think we're kind of flattening out a little bit with 5e being out for so long.
Yeah.
But people are really getting into it, though.
Yeah.
Yep. So, anyway, we cut ahead. We've played through multiple campaigns since then, since we started out. We successfully finished Curse of Strahd. Storm King's Thunder went for way longer. We didn't finish that until... almost our end of our senior year.
Storm Kings?
Yeah.
Storm Kings, yeah. Once Pandemic Eric hit last year. Pandemic.
Yeah, Pandemic.
Panderic. I don't know if that's a good word.
COVID-19.
And demonetized on YouTube. Dang it. Anyways, when all of that hit, we had to finish our last session from our new apartment. You know, once we left college,
which I will say, perfect setting. If you ever had a boss fight in
Storm King's Thunder,
thundering rain. So
yeah, so part of the last encounter that I built for them, because we finished Storm King's Thunder during senior year, like the actual campaign book stuff, and I was like, well, we have to continue with these characters. We're not done at like 12th level, and so we kept going and going and going past to the point where we got up to level 14, 15 for the last session. And during our final session of Storm Kings, it was raining and lightning and thundering outside. Everybody came over, and right when I was like, you were like that, yeah. This Diet Pepsi really does wonders. But yeah, right whenever we got into that last session, everybody was over, and I was like, when we last left our adventures, when we last barreled on the Giant's Bane, it was like thundering outside. You could hear the rain. It was like, this is the best setting for a final session. Except for that, Firefighter Eric couldn't be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely transferring from being in person all the time to being half digital, half in person has been like tougher. But you can
pretty well.
Yeah, but you can make it work any way you want, which is like a big thing for starting. Like, don't think about the minute details of D&D, you know, like if you're gonna play on Roll20 or if you're gonna play in person, like just do it. Like that's when I started DMing, it was a random, I think I could do this, and then just started doing it 1 week off the bat.
Absolutely.
So I think that just hitting the go button and just starting is the massive first step into actually having your dream group come together, which I'd say is what we have now. Like we have pretty much. I'd consider ours an almost perfect D&D group for what I want out of the game.
Yeah, and since we've been playing Storm Kings, we've been consistent. You know, there were a couple players that we dropped near the beginning, but now it's us 5, us 6.
Yeah, 6 of us, because you have 5 players and then me as a DM.
Yep.
And even when the old Eric dropped out way in the beginning, I think it was only the first couple sessions, really.
Yeah.
So it didn't get too far.
Yeah, so, and, I mean, we're not even playing Storm Kings anymore, so we finished that, and now we're into, I'm running Descent into Avernus, but we play a bunch of other things, too, like, we switched turns, like, DMing and stuff, we gave Zach hell for a couple of weeks when we played in the Eberron setting for a bit.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've swapped some settings, and then we've, just played, like, with a lot of different ideas, and, to this point, I think that if any of us had to choose, like, one other form of entertainment that we have, or D&D, I'd always be like, well, I'm taking D&D. I'm doing that. Like, no way will I go back to watching TV on Saturdays.
I don't care if it's only once a week.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if we don't get to play it this week.
I'll sit still and look at a wall until D&D comes back around. Bring me my burrito, ma'am. I gotta look at this wall till D&D starts.
The problem is if I don't get my D&D weekly fix at this point, I end up just reading the books or getting ideas and building more characters and just getting
or just
more
talking about ideas.
Absolutely. It's you have to, if you can't play it, you have to think about it. You have to read about it. It takes over.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, tip number 1 for starting D&D is to start D&D.
Yep. Yeah. So, if you only have 1 or 2 friends and you don't think you've got enough for a group, that's not a real pitfall. Like, I've run D&D for as few as 2 players before, and we've had a great time.
Yeah. Well, and Drew, you might want to pull up like a little bit of your experience with running it for 1 person.
When I first started back in college, I was getting absolutely obsessed with it so quickly. I just started reading through Seth's books and learning as much as I could, kind of like what Zach was talking about before, reading through all the monsters and just knowing as much as I could, which is frowned upon now, but I was a commuter.
I wouldn't say frowned upon. Like, if you're really into the idea of DMing, go and read through that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, if that's your role that you want to take
just if you're, you have no aspirations for being a DM, you're just a forever player, then maybe chill with the...
Yeah, like having those surprises come up organically and not knowing, like, I change a lot of the monsters now because I know, like, all of my players have DM'd before, so I'm like, okay, well, here's this creature. Remember, it's not the one from the monster manual. I messed with it.
Yep.
Don't use your meta knowledge.
Don't be White Glove Eric, who writes the hit points of the monster because he remembers it because he read the books.
Yeah, exactly.
And knows every monster's HP.
Yeah, he did that too. Did we tell you about White Glove Eric doing that? Yeah. What he would do was he would keep his notebook and be like, "How many hit points was that again?" And then he would like be behind in his notes and stuff. And like Zach asks for questions and notes and stuff, but it's not like a lot. It's just like, "Hey, can you repeat what that script was that you just read to me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." No, White Glove Eric would sit there and be like, "Okay, slashing damage, that was 7 points. So okay, he probably has like 13 more points, like 13 more HP left. Oh, the last one we killed had 26 HP. Seth, you said that he took 27 and he's not dead yet." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, well I wanted the combat to be a little more interesting, so I gave him 5 extra hit points. You okay with that?"
I think it's hilarious that so many people take that angle of, how's it looking? Or can I do this? Or can I finish it off? The way I look at it is it dead? No, I'm going to hit it again. Just keep hitting it. It'll go down eventually.
Yeah.
But,
so that's not great. But if you want to be a DM, I mean, that's my recommendation is read the DMG, read the DM only sections of Xanathar's Guide,
and read through a 1 to 5, like
for sure,
like Fandelver, or what's the Icespire Peak one? Is that
Dragon of Icespire Peak?
Yeah, Dragon of Icespire Peak, or Dragon Heist. I mean, those are all great starting points.
Right, and so if you're a new person to D&D, you want to get into DMing, I think that's probably my best recommendation, the best product on the market
Read
today.
The Player's Handbook.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. Player's Handbook. But if you want to DM a group, the D&D Essentials kit, you can get it at Walmart or Target. It's like $15.
Super cheap.
Yeah, and that's a great place to start. It's got just a ton of resources. It's got like cute little magic item cards you can hand out to your players, and just all the bells and whistles. Comes with dice. So
I'd say having a player's handbook handy, like at least one of your players or you has one, and then picking up something like the essentials kit like that. I mean, that's a perfect easy starting point that's not going to break the bank, because as we all know, with having hundreds of dollars of books on our shelves and having a whole shelf dedicated to or a whole bookcase like related to D&D, then definitely we put the money into it, but you don't have to.
Bare minimum, if you want to play D&D, spend 20, maybe $30 at a player handbook nowadays, depending on what platform you get it, and then pick a platform which you're going to play. So whether that's Theater of the Mind, Roll20, or some other platform.
On a board in person.
Single book, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Right, so I guess we can talk about that a little bit. So when we started D&D, we were playing with minis and grids, because that's what Lanky Eric had available to him.
But they were all like very generic, from an old board game that he had. We didn't have fancy minis or fancy anything.
Yeah.
We had a selection of minis that were from like an old, what was it, a Magic the Gathering board game or something.
I think it was D&D. It was D&D Dungeon Command.
Yeah. He had like an old copy of that, and so he just pulled out like. He had up to, I think, a large mini, and then anything that was huge and above, we just kind of had to imagine it, or like get something like a Pepsi can to signify the creature we were fighting. He would build. That was something I thought he did really well when we would play, is he would build out our environments with like pencils and stuff, so we could really picture them. And I did appreciate that a lot, of being like, okay, I can picture this better whenever the room is built out in something like pencils or pennies or like an old Tic Tac box.
Yeah,
this is what we're using.
And so that was a lot of fun. But if you don't have access to something like that, Theater of the Mind, like Drew was saying, where it puts a little bit more on the DM to keep a general,
very descriptive.
Yeah, an idea of where things are placed, but ultimately that could work very well, just depending on your group as well, or a virtual tabletop like Roll20, or I know Tailspire is something that a lot of people
Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah, Tabletop Simulator. Anything like that, definitely. And we've even used Roll20 like in our in-person sessions too, from time to time, before we got like a mat to draw on.
Yeah, a dry erase mat is what we kind of use now. And for our digital players that play with us still who don't live in our area, we actually have an overhead camera that points down towards our dry erase battle map that we use for most things. Sometimes I'll go a little more in depth and pull out an actual paper map that signifies everything. But most of the time we're dealing with like drawings or just imagining what the landscape looks like as I describe it. And yeah, it really just depends on the session to session. But like we said, like we have the money to put into that. If you're just starting like fresh like we were in college, battle map for $10, $15. Essentials kit for like $15, and then a player's handbook from someone. You just need one, but you can get more if you want them.
Yeah, or even if if you're broke, you don't have anything.
A whiteboard.
Yeah, a whiteboard, even graph paper and pennies. That's all you need. Your graph paper to keep track of where things are, pennies to use as your miniatures.
Yeah, you can play completely free. Like, if someone has a copy of like the digital versions of the books or something, have them show it to you so you can make your characters.
When I first started, and I got absolutely obsessed, and I started a campaign with my one friend who was not in person. It was a remote one-person game. It was crazy. I started off with, I got a poster board, and I actually gridded it out, like for a, what do you call it, the dry erase boards?
Yeah.
I gridded it out, and I used pennies and dimes, and then if you saw the quarter or the $50 come out, you knew it was a big boss coming out. It was really, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. You just kind of make it work, whatever you have. I went to Walmart and I got erasers for like the river, and certain colored erasers were buildings, and it was really overly complicated, honestly. You needed a key to kind of know what the map was.
Yeah.
But pick anything. Like Seth was saying, use Tic Tac boxes, use erasers, use if you want to get a dry erase board, do it. You can get a piece of paper and a pencil and just draw a little map on it if you have to.
I mean, to this day, we still use dice boxes for flying creatures, like to stack them on. Like old clear things that we have to like stack them on. Like, oh, they're higher than that? Well, here's a bottle.
Yeah.
Like something we can put it up on top of. So, I mean, even going that far, it's just get creative with it. That's what D&D is.
And take that as innovation, too. If there's anything you can think of, a prop or an idea, music, a smell. I know they have candles now that make it smell like a certain environment.
We're totally buying some of those. And then we'll try them out, and we'll talk about them.
I keep getting those advertised to me on Instagram. I almost bought one.
I'm just saying, yeah, you always come this close, right?
Well, yeah, because I'm running Saltmarsh in a little bit here, but none of them were like super. Nothing was something that I wanted to pull out for that yet.
Yeah.
So.
But come on, wouldn't it be so cool to have like that good like sea salt smell, or like we're on the ocean or something? You know, that nice coastal smell, and we're like, ooh, I feel the game. Pull up a picture of the ocean on the TV.
Get it real immersive.
Just for gigs, I want to get like a really bad candle, like crusty swamp, like something really gross smelling.
No,
that's
kind of what I want.
I want a blood and guts candle while you guys are on the battlefield. You know.
Yeah.
You're going into a really crazy encounter, and I light the candle as soon as Newt does his finishing blow.
Which, I don't know if we mentioned that. We are actually currently in Descent into Avernus.
Yeah.
I don't think we mentioned that. But
Crazy.
very different kind of landscape. Different smells, different visuals. Very different from Forgotten Realms and I guess Greyhawk.
I mean, it is Forgotten Realms still, but yeah, going into Avernus, like, starting with those layers of hell, which we've never really delved into, like, a lot of other planes before, is crazy stuff. And I would strongly recommend the Avernian remix of the campaign if you happen to be running that. That guy's got like some crazy changes to the campaign.
From personal experience, run a module, run something that's pre-made. My first time running anything, I made it all up. It was with one person, all homebrew stuff. The class itself was homebrew. It was idiotic. I went so far out of the way to make it creative when I could have just used a module and made it so much simpler and easier, more fun for the players.
Well, yeah, and I was just about to say, so I know there's a lot of debate over whether or not you should use homebrew or just use a module.
That's a good point.
For our D&D group, we've definitely leaned more heavily on running modules, just for lack of time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we all have adult big boy jobs we gotta handle.
So, and that's another thing about D&D is it is a time investment. So you do have to do it for the love of the game and to get to hang out with your buds. Because I mean, I know I still wouldn't be talking to Firefighter Eric if we weren't still playing D&D.
Exactly.
So,
well, and I mean, the big thing for me is I just like getting my virginity back every week. You know,
and that's how it works.
Yeah, that's never gonna stop.
Yep.
You know, I get to get it and lose it and get it and lose it. Like, not what other hobby gets you that benefit? I couldn't name one.
I can't think of one.
LARPing, maybe.
Maybe it
ministry.
Ministry. You don't get forgiven every week. It's okay that you had sex, son. Just don't do it again.
Oof.
Father, I messed up.
Now we get into our political side of the podcast.
No.
Cut that part out. Roll it back.
These are all jokes. Don't cancel me on episode 1.
Or do.
Later, we'll talk about Holy Eric.
Oh yeah, Holy Eric. Oh man, good times.
Do we want to explain the gig of Eric's, or do you just want to leave it at this?
I think this is perfect. Why do they need to know where Eric came from?
Mm-hmm. You're right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And just treat Eric as an unnamed person. You don't get to know their name.
They're all different, unique Erics.
Yeah, they're all each Eric has a different like adjective or whatever before it.
Also, if your name is Eric, that's cool.
You're an NPC. I'm sorry to let you know. This is how you had to find out. Oh.
Well, like a good NPC with a cool voice and everything. Maybe it's a couple class levels, you know?
Yeah.
Like a good NPC you want to talk to. Like a fun shopkeeper.
Or a gnoll.
or a gnoll, yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Or a guy guarding a watchtower with a red cap on his head. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he tries to run away, he gets killed.
By me.
Hypothetically, this didn't happen,
right.
Of course, not in the last session. What else do we do? Is there anything else we need to go over for like starting up your first group? I guess like we can kind of go over what we think constitutes our group being great, you know? Because for me, it's one. I mean, we're all super close, mm-hmm. You know. Well, I'd say playing with people you're very close with instead of a bunch of strangers you know, while that can work, you can meet these strangers, play with them, and you know, shoot the shit back and forth and have a good time, make friends. Playing with friends that we already were like super close to and knew that we're going to be there every time and that we trusted, like, changed the game for us. Our first group was very fun, and Zach and I became way closer friends because of it. But likewise, only one other person from that game still, I think, even like we even associate with.
Right. Well, and so to speak more on that, it's okay to let friendships and, you know, the natural relationships you have with your D&D group take their course. So
yes.
If, you know, you have real life problems with an individual, that transfers over to the game. I know it's a popular
and just
to say
like
now
by the personal way that the game works. The game is a very personal game. You're you're pretending to be someone else, but you're still you.
Mm-hmm.
That will transfer and affect the game.
Yeah, so like, you know, the horror stories you may have read on Reddit or whatever, those do happen in person too. And sometimes...
But we would never experience them, of course not.
No. But so if you need to move on, you need to move on. And if you need to, you know, text everyone you know and ask them to play D&D with you, that's somewhere you can turn to as well. So we didn't start with the perfect group.
No.
It took years of playing and meeting
people.
Yeah, and, you know, playing in different games with the same people.
And hating the people that are still a part of your perfect group. I think there's a point in the game where I despised someone at some point where I was like...
Broccoli Eric?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely there was points where I was like, man, are we still playing with Broccoli Eric? And then Broccoli Eric was still... We were all still like, yeah, we're definitely still playing with Broccoli Eric. He's part of the game.
Of course.
You know, there's no way he can ever be out of it, you know?
It might sound kind of odd, but when you first start, do not get discouraged.
Yeah.
Give it a go. Give it a try. If the first time you play, it just didn't feel right, maybe the people you were playing with just didn't bounce off each other.
Or maybe you suck as a DM.
It's possible. It's very possible you suck. I know I did.
We've all sucked.
We've definitely all sucked.
Yep.
So keep trying, play a couple different games, run it a different way, pick up a different style, maybe swap out some players, see if more people want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Just try some different things and don't give up after the first game if you're not super into it.
Yeah, and you know, there are some people you run into that you'll play D&D with who are like, it's not for me. And I've learned that the hard way. Some people, you just can't get them to play D&D with you, and that's okay.
And not even that, you can't get them to play D&D. I don't want to say correctly, but like, you definitely meet people who play D&D in a way that you do not accept.
Well, right. So there's styles,
yeah.
Plenty of different ways. You know, every table's different. So if you meet a player and they don't really gel with your table, it's okay to say, well, this has been fun. Thank you for playing D&D with me.
It's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
But also it's you. We're all still going to play without you.
Yeah.
It's
maybe we'll have an episode about breaking up with your D&D friends.
Oh my god, we definitely have to do that.
That'd be heartbreaking if it was someone long term.
I mean, not that Zach and I have done it, but we definitely have.
Uh-huh.
Him more so than me. Mm-hmm. Like, he's had to make the hard decisions. I just got to talk about the people behind their bags.
Yeah, you do make some hard decisions,
as
a DM.
I definitely made a couple of hard decisions of having to have the conversation with players.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's tough.
Yeah, and it is. I think it is part of the role of the DM to facilitate. Okay, talk with your players, suss out. Okay, someone did something that made me a little uncomfortable last session.
Yeah.
How does everyone feel about this?
Yeah, that's a big... I didn't even think about that. But yeah, that's huge. Is like, I have table rules that... I don't have to tell our current group any rules. Like, they know how to play D&D. Like, there's never a point when I'm like, hey, that was a little inappropriate. You know? Mm-hmm. We'll all be like, ooh, I don't like that joke. And then it continues being a joke.
If someone says something now with our current group, we say... Hey, don't say that.
Yeah, right. And it's that easy, though. Like, the person never says it again. It's not like we have to sit to the side and be like, hey, man, we really need you to stop this. We've never had to have that conversation with anyone.
So it's nice to be in that situation. But if you're not, then, you know, that it's on the DM, but it's also on all the players at the table.
Especially
voice.
if like one of your players brought this person in. It's like, hey, can my friend play? Sure, have him come make a character with me, and they end up being horrible. They've got a little bit of that responsibility too.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think everyone at the table has a little bit of that. You have to make sure you're speaking up. If people are doing something super weird, it's making everyone else uncomfortable. If you keep playing with that person, you're just playing games that no one wants to be around at that point. Cringy.
I'm cringing just thinking about things we've been through.
That'll be an upcoming episode, actually.
Definitely we'll have to talk about just like our player horror stories. There's definitely not enough time in the first thing to go over that, because that's a whole like a trilogy to itself.
We'll have different sagas.
I was gonna say we had the episode 1, White Glove Eric.
I have a good one with Cannibal Eric, if I've ever told you.
Oh my god, I know about Cannibal Eric.
Cannibal Eric? I don't recall.
We'll talk about it in a later episode. But it was quite a session.
Gotcha.
Quite a session.
Oh, you know what? I know who you're talking about.
Building up all this table talk lore is gonna be great.
So. Does anyone have any closing thoughts for this episode? I feel like we're getting towards the end here.
Nike, just do it. Just
Absolutely.
Not sponsored yet.
Well, could possibly.
Maybe by the time the episode comes out, we will be sponsored.
Yeah.
By the time it comes out, I'm like, hey guys, buy our Get Good sandals.
Get Good D&D sandals.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have some Eric merch.
Yeah, that would be great. We need some Eric shirts or something, like I'm blank Eric, or like my name is something Eric,
Eric with a K.
Yeah. It has to be with a K.
All right, well,
listener Eric. That's a good one. Yeah.
I'm listener Eric.
Yeah, like audience Eric, or like I'm part of the Erics,
I like just keep it Eric.
Keep it Eric?
Just like keep it straight. Keep it Eric.
That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah. So this has been episode 1 of Table Talk. We did pretty good. I think total we made it like 40 minutes of full stuff, because I had left it recording at the beginning.
Okay.
But
yeah,
that's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Chop it up. Make sure that every time we say Eric, it's replaced with something else, like bees. I'm one of the bees.
Lanky bees.
We'll have to sit down and decide what we're going to talk about next week.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's just roll a d20 and see what we get, and we'll click the stop button. Ooh, not a good episode, boys. We could have done better.
Don't tune in next week.
Roll your performance check.
All right, let's recommend another podcast for you to listen to. And stop.